Okay, so the title of today's video is The Worst Day of My Life, featuring every day of my life, because my life is tragic on a daily basis. So really it's just going to be like a series because it never stops. But anyway, the point of this video today is to make you feel better, or to know why it was important if as a child you were constantly forced to eat at Chinese restaurants. So if you want to know why, then keep watching. Okay, perfect. So, quick little story. So I'm in Orlando visiting friends and whatnot, and I'm originally from Pennsylvania, so I still have a PA driver's license, and it has changed a couple of times, but at the same time, it's like a normal driver's license. So I had gone to a couple bars, no problem at all, used my ID, I'm clearly over the age of 21, had no problems whatsoever. So we get to the last bar, and I had definitely been, drinking, so at this point I'm like extra unaware of my surroundings, and I get into it was more of like I don't want to say it was a club, but I guess it was closer to a club than a bar. So we get up to the door, and the bouncer kind of like flashes his light at my driver's license, and he's like, "This is a fake." And I was like, "No, it's not a fake." He's like, "This is a fake, clearly." And he's like flicking his little light and like flapping it around. So he sticks it in his pocket. And I'm like, "What are you doing? This, like, you can't take my ID. I'm in a town I'm not familiar with. I'm blah, blah, blah." So I'm like freaking out. So my friends had already gone in. And so they finally came out. They're like, "What's wrong?" And I'm telling them what's happening. So the bouncer goes, "Listen, I need you to get out of line, go, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "Do you have another form of ID?" So I said, "I have a passport." I said, "But it's in my car, like, and I don't even know where it's parked at this point, because I was drunk." So he's like, "Well, that's not my problem." He's like, "Go talk to the other bouncers and they'll tell you where that garage is." So I was like, okay. So I collect myself, I step out of line, I go over to the other bouncer, and the bouncer looks at me and he's like, "What are you doing here? Why are you standing here?" And he starts like yelling at me, and I was like, "Listen, I was just told by bouncer number one that he thinks my ID is fake, so I need to go find my passport to show you that I'm actually of age." And he's like, "Well, that's not my problem." He's like, "Get out of here." And he starts like swearing at me and like, "Tell me to get the fuck out." And I'm like, I'm freaking out. So I'm super sad. I almost start to cry. So then so bouncer number one saw that bouncer number two was like berating me. So he comes over all, aggressive, and is like, "Listen," he's like, "we're going to solve this right now." So he takes out my allegedly fake ID, whips it out, and he pulls up his phone and he's like, "What like real smug. He's like, "What's your sign?" I was like, "Cancer." And he's like, "When's your birth date?" And I rattle it off. And then he's like, "Oh, you're not gonna get this one." And he goes, "What's your Chinese zodiac?" And I was like, "A monkey." And he's like, "Oh yeah, really?" And he like goes to Google and he types in and he goes, "Huh." He's like, "You're right." He's like, "I never would have known that." And then he gives me my ID and he slaps a wristband on me and lets me go in. So needless to say, the only reason I knew that was because I was forced to eat at Chinese restaurants like multiple times a week my whole childhood, and I just remember the placemats, and the placemats always had your Chinese zodiac, and I just remember looking at it and thinking I didn't really want to be a monkey, I wanted to be something else, so it's forever burned in my brain. So in the event that you get in a little sticky situation and you need to prove your age, just know that Chinese zodiac, or just be thankful that you were forced to eat at a Chinese restaurant for like half of your life. Worst day of my life, featuring every day of my life.